you're raising miniature versions of yourself. So if you're a dynamic individual, you'll raise dynamic children too. My sons are very like hyper. I don't want to drug them. I don't want to give them something to suppress how they feel. Yeah. You know, I want them to be able to learn and understand and then regulate based on that, because they're wrestling on the floor and they're jumping in each other's bed. And I'm like, go to bed. Like, let's just take a deep breath and let's just focus on calm and quiet. How do people have more than one child? And she's like, you will forget about all the pain in 6 months and you will get pregnant again. You're having twins. I'm like, what? My husband turns white. He's like, well, I guess there's no taking them back now. I'm not doing the C-section. I'm having these babies naturally. This is what is going to happen.
Welcome to another episode of the Don't Do Nothing podcast. Today we have a wonderful guest who we've been excited to have on for a while. So our guest today is Miss Mariah Nagengast, Mrs. Mariah Nagengast. She's a mother of three, wonderful wife. She also, with her husband, has built their business from a single paintball park in Indiana?
Indiana,
right?
Yeah.
In Indiana to a major attraction theme park company that is they're the company behind Scream-A-Geddon, TreeHoppers, and most widely known Snowcat Ridge, which literally brings how much snow?
Like 400 tons of snow every day.
They bring 400 tons of snow daily for 8 weeks to Central Florida for all the Floridians like me to enjoy. And she's also a highly trained and effective Scientologist. Mariah, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
I just, you know.
Thank you. That was very nice.
She also has twins. I just have to say that
I'm a twin mom. Yes.
Yeah. So.
That's the thing. Other twin moms will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It's like twins.
Peace to all the twin moms.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm thinking about the logistics of it. Okay. You're an awesome business person.
Oh, thank you.
You're an awesome Scientologist. We're super excited to have you. If you were to go back, where did this kind of crazy journey start for you in terms of like
how did it all begin?
Yeah.
Go back to the beginning. So I was born in No,
where were you born?
I was actually born in New York. Okay. I'm a New Yorker at heart, but I was raised in Florida. But so I would probably say it started from the beginning. Obviously, I'm a third generation Scientologist. So I was actually born in New York, not in the church there, but my parents were employees of the church back in the 70s. Wow. And then they transitioned down to a church in Florida called the Church of Scientology Flag Service Organization back in the 80s. And that's kind of where I grew up. I grew up in, I wouldn't say it's a boarding school, but in a homeschool environment. And kind of we're allowed to be creative. And that's really where I learned the work ethic. And I'd probably say that is, my ambition and my drive to always be advancing myself either intellectually as a mother, as a business owner, as a business employee, as, an individual who's a servant to others. That has kind of been my drive, came from my upbringing because, we were told we needed to work and pull our weight. Obviously, we were 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 year olds. So it wasn't like, you need to work, you need to pull your weight. But we were allowed and told to contribute. And we did have things we needed to clean. We were on a schedule. So it was a disciplined environment, but one that really catered to being creative and being yourself and not being told you need to and you have to. We were consulted in terms of our willingness. So that's kind of my drive and perspective, and always, I love reading books. I'm always learning, and you'll hear more about the college that my husband and I are creating, but it really caters to the concept that, yes, I've done this, but it's, a humbleness in regards to what can I do to further improve and help other people or myself or my parents or my kids. So that's kind of what keeps me driven. But anyways, back to the question, which was I met my husband in Indiana about I think 18 years ago. And it's a funny story. I'll just tell it really fast. So I met through a friend. I was actually just driving through because I was transitioning from LA.
I was about to ask, how did you end up in Indiana? Yeah.
Yeah. So I left my life in LA. I needed to change essentially. And so I was moving back down to Florida from California. And I was kind of driving through and I was meeting up with some friends in Indiana. And one of my friends was like, hey, I want you to meet this guy. And, I was actually fresh out of a relationship. I was not interested in meeting a guy. Like, that was like the last thing from my mind. I was like, I need to get, I kind of, for myself at the time, I had hit rock bottom in the sense that I wanted to get a job. I needed stability, a place to live. And I was bunking up.
When was this?
So this was like early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah. I was kind of like, I wouldn't say I was like fresh out of school, but I was still young adult age, kind of finding your feet. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? I knew that if I found something good, I would like have the ambition to grow it, but I wasn't really even of an entrepreneurial mindset. I was more the employee mindset of let's take a good idea and get it done.
Yeah.
Not the visionary concept, which I've transitioned more into like a visionary type of role.
Yeah.
Through learning from other really good business owners and entrepreneurial type individuals. Anyways, back to the story. So she's like, you need to meet this
Benjamin.
guy. You need to meet this guy. So he was, he owned a paintball field, and she's like, I didn't have a job at this point, okay? So I was like,
oh, it was like, meet him, maybe he'll give you a job.
Yeah, I was like, we didn't clarify what job that would be, but so she's like, meet this guy. I'm like, okay, I was staying with her for a few weeks. I was like, okay, fine, I have the time. Honestly, I wasn't really doing anything all day, in the sense of I had the time. So
Right.
She's like, okay, just meet him. I'm like, okay, good. Maybe he can interview you for a job. So he came. He came to the house, and it was like 8:00 at night by that time. And he's like, hey, I'm like, wow, I was thinking, man, this is a really late job interview, but you know what? I don't have anything better to do. So I'm just going to go. So he pulls up an Lexus, a sports car, which to me, coming from a very sparse upbringing, that was actually really cool. So he pulls up, he's like, hey, let's go get some sushi. I'm like, okay, great. So we started just talking like, hey, who are you? And he also was, he's a second generation Scientologist in Indiana. And so we had that in common automatically. So we just started like talking, and he started talking to me about his business. Like, hey, I do paintball. But it was a really interesting perspective. It wasn't just, hey, I do paintball. For those who don't know paintball, it's that little ball, and you go pow pow, and you shoot people with it, and you can reenact and whatnot. And it's very good for military training and or just having fun or just getting even with someone.
That's
on
right.
the field. It can be very fulfilling.
Okay, so have you ever been shot by a paintball gun?
Oh yeah, I have.
Okay.
In order to work there, you have to know what you're going to be
I'm sure
selling.
you got
and
bruised
do.
up, right?
Yeah, I got bruised up. So it feels basically like a wet washcloth is like hitting you really fast. So it goes away. But so we started talking. We kind of hit it off, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I want to see if you wanted to come on board or he didn't say on board, but come work with me and help me grow this business." And at that time we were doing about $6,000, or he was doing $3,000 to $6,000 a week. He was mainly working on the weekends out of his parents' house in their front yard. And they have about 50 acres. So it was like a larger, or 30 acres. Okay. So it was a larger front yard, and literally by word of mouth. And
Was that the field? Their front yard was the field.
Wow.
one of
No rent.
Well, one of the reasons we ended up moving, or he ended up moving, is because of complaints from the neighbors about finding paintballs in their backyard, because the property butts up against their property.
Oh.
So, but anyway, so he's like, hey, and I was like, what even is paintball? I'm female, number one, but I was not into like guns or equipment, or like, this is not how I grew up, or like, So he explained to me what paintball was, and I'm like, you know what? Okay. I was thinking, I didn't give him the okay yet, and I was like, okay, this guy sounds kind of cool. He actually sounded very intellectual, like he had all these big ideas and stuff. And I was like, and he's talking about building a custom house and, like sharing his dreams with me. And then he's like, hey, I'll tell you what, why don't you come to New York with me? And I'm like, He's like, I'm like, well, when are you going to New York? He's like, tomorrow morning. I'm like,
Oh my gosh. What? Moving fast. Like, what? Did you still think this is a job interview at that point?
Oh, was this still during the job interview?
Yes.
in one sitting.
Deal with
at
this.
dinner.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I don't know. And he's like, no, come with me. You can learn what I do. And
Did he
I'll
get
buy
you a
your
separate
ticket."
bedroom?
We'll get to that.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. Wow. I can't imagine Benjamin like that.
This is so funny because Ben is so
Wow.
straight
He's
laced.
so conservative. I can't believe
He's
this.
the kind of guy that goes after something if he really wants it. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the end of the story. But anyway.
Here we are 18 years later.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, so basically he talks me into going to New York with him. So he buys me a flight that night. First, I told him, like, nah, you're bull. Like, that's not true. Like, that's not, you're just messing with me. He's like, no, serious. I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm going to see the biggest paintball field owner in the world, which is out in Philadelphia. We still know him. He's still a good friend of ours. And he does, like, millions and millions of players and
Was that the first time that you guys met this guy?
I
Like
think
he-
it
I
was
mean, him,
Ben's
him.
second
Okay,
time
okay.
meeting him. It was my first time meeting Paul Fogel. But anyways, so he talks me into going to him. So he picks me up at like 4 a.m. We go take a flight
What time did you get home that night?
after midnight. I didn't end
Oh,
up sleeping
wow.
at all. I was like, you know what? This is like, when you're handed like not an opportunity, but like realized I was pretty young. I was like
I know.
young adult. I didn't know what I wanted to necessarily do with my life. And you're
Right.
having this guy like, come with me to New York.
It's like kind of a movie, no? I mean, really.
It really does sound
Okay,
that
I
way.
could do this.
And it's very drastic.
It
Yeah.
was very drastic. So I was like, I could use
Gentlemen,
I could-
take notes.
I could use a sense of adventure.
Wow.
So, anyways, so he. The funny thing is, I'm like thinking in my head, what am I to this guy? Like, am I just a woman he wants to hook up with? Like, am I going to be something in his future? I was like, let's kind of just going with the wind. Let's see where this takes us.
Okay. Wow.
So. Anyway, so we get to Paul's place. It's like a huge property. He has whitewater rafting. You can do bike rentals, but he's known as the biggest paintball park in the world because he's so close to New York. So he draws a huge New York crowd. So we get to Paul, and Paul's like, "Oh, who's this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's my executive assistant." That's how he introduces me. And Paul's like, "I want an executive assistant," and I'm like. I was thinking, does that mean I'm getting paid for this?
Did you guys discuss that yet?
We hadn't discussed that. I was kind of just like, let's see where this goes, having my feelers out. We weren't
Okay.
a thing either. We weren't like a husband, girlfriend, or anything.
Right.
That wasn't a thing. So long story short, we went back and I'm like, so I'm coming to work for you. He gave me a simple, like now that I look back, I'm like, oh, cheapskate. Like, an entry-level salary.
Wow.
But, I guess it was a great time to learn how to build a company because, like I said, he was in a transitional period. He was taking his paintball field. He had just bought a new property, closed on it. About 20
I'm sorry, I
minutes
want to
down the road.
know how much. Can
first
you
part.
say
How much-
how much did he pay you?
Oh,
How much did he pay her?
Probably $15 an hour.
I
No,
don't, I
less.
was
Less?
thinking it was
Less.
salaried. It was salaried.
What salary?
So it was like $450 a week.
Okay.
Like I said, it was super entry level. I didn't.
It's her first
11,
official
25.
job.
Well,
from
also,
after being
and
a
at that
volunteer.
time, you got to understand, like from my perspective, I'm just entering the workforce.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. I didn't graduate high school. I, did get a GED, but so I didn't also have a very like self-worth and value and confidence level.
You have the highest worth position of all the companies, just so you know. You and Ben are now, you guys, it's 50-50.
Co-owners, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Little did he know.
Yeah,
But no,
little
but
did
listen.
we know.
Yeah.
18 years
Yeah,
later.
that's
That's
true.
true.
That's true. Good point.
So, super entry. So I started just like cleaning the paintball guns, doing like, I started handling the day-to-day operations. It was him, one other employee, and then me. After a week, I was kind of, trying to take over everything. So the other employee said, listen, it's either like, his name was Matt. I'm either going to keep doing this, or are you going to do it with her? Choose one or the other, because I'm.
What an idiot.
Yeah. It's like,
Sorry,
that's
I
an
mean,
easy
like-
choice. You're fired.
Yeah. Did he
Wow.
even have to think? Was he just like,
No, he was
bye?
like, that's an easy one. I think that
Your efficiency. Your
Oh,
efficiency is
very high.
yes.
So anyway, so I started handling the day-to-day operations, and then Ben started actually building the new park. And that was kind of the beginning of our relationship, which is I handle a lot of the business end of things, like the behind the scenes, and he handles the visionary and the build and the parks. And like I said, we have 4 new parks that we're working on. One that, if everything goes as planned, will open this new holiday season. It's like a Christmas show. Think Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Where is it gonna be?
It's going to be at our other property up in Dade City, where we have, it's about an hour from here.
That's where TreeHoppers is, right?
Closer.
I know. It's the one of the things, and we have an exact formula for our business model
Yeah.
that we have down, but one of the things is people want to get out of the city and kind of into a made up
Agreed.
world. And that's why I think one of the reasons why Orlando and Disney does so good is because their storytelling and they build this world, this fictional world, and people like it because it's an escape from the day to day. And that's, one of the things we want to do is we create unique, engaging experiences that, are fun, and people want to come back again and again with friends. So we're building this kind of, adventurous. Some of them are adventurous, some of them are horror, like some of our Halloween parks. Those aren't necessarily for everyone. But like Snowcat Ridge, we literally created a fictional world in the middle of Florida.
Yes.
Of snow. So you can go snow tubing, you can go indoor and play with the snow, and you can go ice skating. We do a whole Santa's Christmas Lane. So, and that operates in the holiday season. So, so that's kind of been our relationship. So I did start writing a book about how to work with your significant other without killing them.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Because it's like everything, there's a technology behind things, and if you know and understand it, you won't be the adverse effect of it. So, and that is something that I've learned in Scientology through the studies of Scientology, and I think that's important, and it can be applied anywhere you want in life, as a pilot, as a mom, as a mother, as a person who's pregnant. If you understand, and that's one of the things I do. Like when I got pregnant, I started just reading all the books about it. Like what did this person go through? What's the science behind this? How do you nurse, and what is the science, and what can you run into? So one of the things I like to do when I'm learning something is start reading about it. What are other people's perspectives? And it gives you more of a dynamic, comprehensive understanding than just a single focused linear duplication of something. So that's kind of the story of how we met. And then today, yes, and I
So
can
when did
say,
you actually get together?
so we actually got together shortly after we met.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we did become a thing.
That was at Paul's house. Was that at Paul's house?
Oh no.
Okay, I just-
Aaron, now you're being crass, but no, we are very ambitious, driven individuals, and I've lived with this person, and I am raising kids with this person, and we work together, and it's just been an interesting up and down and working through. But when you find someone that you connect with, and not only are they your partner but your best friend, someone you can talk to, someone you can share with, someone
It's a life partner.
they are a life partner, exactly. And so we are building our empire and our life together, whether it's we disagree on this, that, or the other thing. And Scientology has helped stabilize that, and not just call someone else and start saying, my husband, blah, 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 or, go and not that I'm saying it's bad for other people to do this, but, I do understand now why people will drink when they are stressed out.
Right.
I don't think that that's a good solution,
Right.
but I do understand when you're super stressed, you find other ways to de-stressify. And some people work out, some people just drink, some people hang with their girlfriends or smoke cigars or whatever. But that is one of the things is I have had Scientology as a means to handle my stress without resorting to pills or, calling up my mom or whatever and just like downloading how much I hate my husband at that time.
Right.
just want to punch them in the face. Like I'm a very passionate individual when it comes to things. So some things. So
I've been to your house and you have a like a punching bag thing there.
Yeah,
Is that related or?
Yes, actually, we do. I do it for my kids. His name is Bob, and we were doing this fitness routine. I was like, this is actually really good to, kickboxing is a fantastic way to get out some anger. You're not beating a person up. You're just beating a bag up. You can't get arrested for that. So,
That's a good one.
Yet.
So I do have him there, and the kids, when they get mad, I go punch Bob. So they go give him a few punches, and then we come back and talk about it.
So smart.
It's just an outlet for him. Some
Love
people,
that.
Yeah.
So that's a technique.
We're all about to
after
have
he went
Bobs.
to your house and saw that punching bag, he bought one.
I did
Oh,
buy
you
it,
did?
But he didn't buy the cool one with Bob's on Bob's head on it.
What's the
We
name
call
of
him
yours?
Bob.
No, mine doesn't,
doesn't
look
have
like
a
a
head.
person. It's just a bag.
Yeah, hers is
Like
cool.
hers looks
Bro,
like
you
a
can still
dude.
name
It's
it.
actually
I know.
cool.
Yeah, you
So
fill
now
the
I'm
bottom
gonna
with
I
that.
have to redeem myself. I have to buy a punching bag that looks like a dude.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll do
Yeah,
it.
and the funny thing is, we were going through just another story. We were going through a challenging moment as a team because we now have 40 full-time or 40 to 60 full-time staff, and then we hire up to 1,000 for our seasonal parks.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've gone through stuff as a group building. When you're building a development, essentially, anyone who's in this industry knows the challenges you face through licensing. It's a very you do building permits and dealing with buildings officials and engineers and plumbers and
Also, what
sometimes
about liabilities too, right?
yeah, liabilities. So anyways, there was a specific person who we were dealing with in the building department in our county, and everyone who got off the phone was like ready to, I'm like, just hang in there. I was thinking, don't quit on us now. Don't quit on us now. We're so close. So I was going to get them Bob, and so they can put her face on there and just pound it out. I'm like, that'll actually allow them to regain their composure.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I'm very expressive. My family is very expressive, and we like to express our ways through physical energy sometimes. So
That's great.
Mariah, at what point, being raised as a Scientologist, at what point did you decide I am a Scientologist?
That's a good question. So I think when I call it for my own life, hit rock bottom. I came out of a relationship and violated my personal integrity to the point where I did not like myself anymore. And I was probably in my early 20s, actually just before I met Benjamin. That's when I decided, okay, I need a change. I was also dealing with, and I can be very introspective. Like as a child, I was a very introspective individual. I was not as communicative. I answered a lot of one syllables to my parents and my mother, like, hey, Mariah, how's it going? Okay. Like that was the extent of my communication.
That's 2 syllables.
Okay, fine.
One word.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I'm
Say
sorry.
good.
That's what Ben would say if he was here.
I'd probably say there are different points in my life, but the time when I actually started pursuing this to help myself as opposed to just through helping others, because I obviously have a big drive to help other people. And when I say help, I mean like talk to them, respect them. Like see if I can help them buy their house, see if I can help them talk through a relationship issue. See if I can get them to help read this book to understand that money is, I saw you had Psychology of Money. Like there's another way of looking at money. And, there's different things you can give to help people. So I was very driven to help others. I hadn't necessarily done things to help myself. So I kind of felt like I imploded a little bit. And I was like, I need to rethink my existence. And again, I was like a young adult, and I was like, okay, I know that Scientology exists, and I know it's there to help others. Maybe I need to use it to start helping myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I felt like, I would call myself a Scientologist because, to me, a Scientologist is one who improves the environment around them with using technologies. So I'd probably say that was the time when I kind of came out of a messy relationship, lost my job or had a change in my career. And I was like, I don't really like myself anymore. I was having, feeling like down and out, and the self, like I suck and what am I doing with my life? And, this regurgitation that just happens, which does not happen anymore. Thank you to Scientology.
Wow.
And Dianetics. Yeah. So early on in my young adult
actually
life.
huge, like we kind of take it for granted,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
completely.
It is huge.
but it is
Yeah.
huge. Like
Yeah.
the number of people that have this self-invalidation situation.
It's
and
literally like you cannot control it. And I've been there. I've been to the point where I was just like, I suck and whatever. And it's very important to know that is not you.
yeah,
That is not me. That is coming from another source, and that source is located with Dianetics.
right.
And that gives you actually something you can do about it. You're not suppressing it, you're not ignoring it, you're actually using another individual to focus your attention and find out where is that coming from and how do we get rid of it.
Yep.
So Dianetics definitely saved my life.
Wow.
Like 100%, hands down, firm believer. And from that, I was able to build on enhancing my intelligence, enhancing my creativity. What do I actually enjoy doing in life? Good. How can I play to those strengths? What are my weaknesses? But, so.
So for you, when you hit that tough point
Yeah.
and you said, hey, I know about the Scientology thing, this might be able to help me. What did you do?
At that point.
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
So I asked my boyfriend at the time, which was Benjamin. I said, hey, because he was like, hey, why don't you do your first service? We call it a service or training.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some books you can read. And I was like, okay. So he connected me up with the local Church of Scientology, which was at Battle Creek in Michigan, because we were based in Indiana. And he said, why don't you do an extension course? And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, I can read. I liked reading. So an extension course is a book you can read. Like one of the books is The Way to Happiness. That's probably the first one I started with. And it's a book that Mr. Hubbard wrote that gives you moral guidance along your path and basic principles to follow in life to better your life and create a better environment around you with your family. And so basically you can contact the org, typically through their website, or he gave me a phone number and he said, call them, do an extension course. I recommend The Way to Happiness as a book. And so basically you're studying a chapter and then you're answering questions and you send that in. I think now they have it digitally. Back then it was all through paper. Yeah. Now they probably have it online, and then basically you study the next chapter. And the thing I liked about it is it wasn't saying you need to believe this,
Right.
you have to do that. It talked to your own, how do you want to apply this? What do you think about it? And that's what I like. That's probably what kept me going is I don't like being put in a box.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't feel like I belong on this planet. I'm not like, I'm not like, this is me. This is how I was thinking,
Right.
like I don't want to live in this world and be like this person that I am right now. So, and I don't want to be told you need to do A, B, C, and D. You're going to be put in a cell and, because you're mentally unstable. Like I was like, not interested in that as a handling.
Right.
You're
And
thinking
so-
more like, let me fly off to New York. You're right, tomorrow, right?
I'm more dynamic and creative. That's a very creative solution. But no, so I liked what I was studying, and it really kind of catered to that ability to think for yourself and what are your thoughts and your ideas. And it just makes me stronger. It made me stronger as a person. And so these other thoughts I was having kind of started going away. And so that's kind of how I progressed. The next one I studied was called The Introduction to Scientology Ethics, which is a fantastic book.
So
Teaches
good.
you about
Amazing.
the conditions, states of operation, which that will take you to a powerful, whatever you want to be, do however much money you want to have. I mean, whatever you want, whatever your goals are, that book will help you get there.
Right.
And so that kind of, put the foundation there for an understanding of what it was that I needed to address and how we were going to address that. So I started with the extension course, the books, and then the first service I did was called the Purification Rundown, which you handle and his mom actually, I did it out of his mother's house because they had what's called a field group. And you'll find these all over the place, but individuals who want to apply and help other people, but there's not a Church of Scientology organization nearby. And so you open what's called a field group, and you get licensed through, apply the regulations. And so I did it, and it's basically you're getting any kind of drugs and toxins and old sunburns. And I haven't myself explored with illegal drugs, but as you're growing up around chemicals and
They come out for sure. You get them out. I can attest.
you can attest, yeah. So that kind of made me feel a lot cleaner. I felt happier. Not because I wasn't happy because of something. I was just happy. And you don't necessarily get that. Like what I have found when I've done Scientology is you just start becoming happier as who you are, or who you can change yourself to be, and you're not happy because of a good movie, a good show, someone gave you a compliment, you made a lot of money. Like these are all reasons, and they affect your mood or whatnot. But being able to have a state where, okay, cool, I'm cool with myself, not having all this garbage in my head every time I'm have a self-doubt or a challenging moment, or someone else gives me, I've had people come up to me that I worked with and like said in your face, you're horrible with people, and then you're just like, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm bad, what did I say? It's like this regurgitation in your head. So the ability to just say thank you and not have it affect you.
Right.
That is a real skill, because then you are in control of your own emotion and you're not reacting to the environment around you. So more of a proactive, intentional.
That's huge.
Yeah, which is big.
Oh my God.
And imagine as a mother, like I think
Oh my goodness.
with my kids, it's so funny because you're raising miniature versions of yourself. So if you're a dynamic individual, you'll raise dynamic children. If you're a very creative, artistic individual, typically, your children will be very artistic. If you're a muted
If you're a pain in the
individual-
ass, your children will be a pain in the ass, like mine.
I was like dealing with my daughter, and I was like, she literally is a miniature version. I'm literally talking to myself right now. It was really cute. But so as a mother, you are working there. Sometimes you can. Like I said, I've read books, but every child is different. They respond to different things. They get sad because of different reasons. There are certain things that in the environment stimulate or don't. And so you're learning as a parent, how does that react on me? How does that react on them?
Right.
And so having Scientology or an understanding of simple principles that can be applied help you to be a better mother. And I have many stories of that. Like you can do what's called an assist, which is, you'll learn it in Dianetics, where basically you're taking that cut or the whatever, the impact.
Or the birth.
Or the birth,
Yeah.
yeah. But with the child, you're taking something where they fell down or they hurt something, and you're basically retouching that point
Oh, that.
over and over. There's different type of assists, but basically you're getting rid of the immediate pain, the immediate pain that was caused. And so I have been able to apply that. Or like my son, or I should say two, my sons are very can seem hyper, very active. I mean, they're boys.
I think most
What do
boys-
you expect?
Yes,
They're
that's
little
the truth.
boys.
That's
They're
the truth.
they're now 7, and so they, I don't want to drug them. I don't want to give them something to suppress how they feel. I want them to be able to learn and understand, and then regulate based on that. And so, there's an assist called the nerve assist, and you're basically doing a very simple procedure on their back and around their body to calm the nervous system.
Right.
And so I do this with them before they go to bed, because they're wrestling on the floor and they're jumping in each other's bed. And I'm like, go to bed. Like, let's just take a deep breath and let's just focus on calm and quiet, And so that is something I can do.
You're
as a
amazing,
parent.
Mariah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
are.
thank
Yeah.
you. That is something I can do as a parent that is going to help them sleep better. And that's an example of using Dianetics as a procedure to improve my relationship with my kids.
By the way, if you wanna know about that, it is in the course. It's called Scientology.org/assists, and you could learn multiple assists. Okay, But nervousness is one of them. It's actually also displayed in the video. Guys, you don't need to become a Scientologist, but if you just want your kids to sleep a little bit better, go and learn.
Yeah.
Do the assist.
Yeah.
You don't need to believe in any God or believe in no God. And like it's not about God. It is about helping the child in front of you or an adult in front of you to have a better
Feel
calm
better.
state.
Yeah,
and
physically
to
feel
remove
better.
hits and pains. Anyway, it's covered in the course. I'm just saying
Yeah.
you guys can do it. It's available for free. And it's not going to tell you anything about any religion. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually add one thing to that. If you want to witness a miracle in your child, go to what is it? Scientology.org/assist, right? Assist singular.
Yes.
Great.
No, assists.
Assists plural. Okay, good. When we I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. When we started, like, I feel like as a parent you run into situations where you're like, holy cow, this kid is freaking out. There's no solution, right?
Seemingly no solution.
Seemingly, it can see it, right. That's what it seems like. If you know about these assists, you can work what seem like miracles to people who don't know about this stuff.
Yes.
It's like freaking miracles.
And the thing is, it's so simple to apply. It's not complicated.
Yes.
You don't need to become a doctorate in blah. It's so simple.
You can learn it in 10 minutes.
I taught my daughter. She's now 10. I think she was 8 or 9 at the time. I was like, listen, mommy's going on a date tonight. I need you to do this with your brothers if they are not going to sleep and if they are too hyper. So, and she's able to do it. So it's very simple, but yes, like you said, it's miraculous, seemingly miraculous. And the thing is, there is science behind it. It has been proven that it does work. So
Right.
that's why we continue using it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So
I was wondering, so obviously you got pregnant,
Yeah.
you had a baby,
Yeah.
the first one. Was it simple and easy thing for you to get pregnant and all that? And the pregnancy went good, or?
So the pregnancy went well. I had a good doctor and, more of a midwife. I was more like kind of at home, planning an at-home birth more. Very granola, kind of like hands off, But afterwards, it was not a good pregnancy. So I ended up giving birth in a birthing center.
Okay.
And it was about, it wasn't even that long, maybe about a 6 to 12 hour labor through the night. And she came pretty easily. I was not ready for how painful it was. I had heard how painful it was. It was actually the first time I ever experienced something so excruciating.
Yeah.
And I was like, talking to the midwife, I was like, how do people have more than one child? And she's like, you will forget about all the pain in 6 months and you will get pregnant again.
Yeah.
She's like, it's just a thing. I'm like, how do women give birth like for millions of years? But anyway, so I actually physically I was exhausted, of course, but mentally I was not in a happy place. I was not, I was not happy. I mean, of course I was happy to have the baby out of me, but I was not happy to have a baby. Like, I wasn't this euphoric moment where I was like, yes, motherhood, this all would have, I want to be a mother. And
So people
that
would call
was
this
not,
postpartum depression,
yes,
correct?
that is another way of saying that.
Yeah.
So how did
So-
you handle this?
Okay, so I was crying a lot and I was, struggling with nursing the baby. I was like determined I was going to nurse this baby. The first thing that happened was I had a rash break out all over my body about 2 or 3 days after I gave birth. And it was mainly on the stomach, the arms, started going into the legs. And it literally looked like measles, but it was like about 1/2 inch to 1 inch red dots.
Wow.
Oh.
And I started just researching what the heck is going on. I'm amongst the no sleep and trying to keep this baby alive and learn how to feed and, the stuff that moms will go through, the first child at least.
Yes.
I had this rash. So I was just like, I was not in a good state. My husband's like, what happened to my wife?
Yeah.
And I was actually refusing any kind of help. I was like, I don't want to, just let me figure it out and do my thing. That was just how I was, and whatever. Birth can do strange things to people, or it can do miraculous things to people. It's different for every person.
Yes.
So I reached out to a friend and I was like, I need to know what you did, because she had like 3 or 4 kids, and I'm like, how did you survive this?
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're a new parent, you can't see past an hour a day,
Yeah.
a week. You know, I was so focused. I hadn't even been out of the house by that time at all. I hadn't even contemplated taking the baby for a walk.
At the
But
first one, or you never?
yeah, you don't even think about it. In addition to trying to heal the body, because it was a natural birth. So she's like, why don't you go to your church down the street and just let them know what's happening? And I was like, okay. So I ended up going and getting counseling. And I did a specific exact thing. And what happened is the next morning, the rash had entirely disappeared. I'm not even joking. I had tried everything. By that time, it was probably day 4 or 5. I hadn't gone to the doctor because in the research I had done, it was just a reaction to birth that women go through. And I was like, okay, if it doesn't go away, and I'm kind of like, unless it's something that's going to like, okay, it's an emergency, I will just kind of let it run its course. That's kind of my own belief. It's not a Scientology belief. It's my belief.
Right.
And so I was just trying to let it run its course. But anyways, so that was very miraculous. And it also handled the mental. I got to address the mental pain and the physical pain that had happened in the birth. And that allowed me to like chill my own universe out. And, you know, when mom is happy, typically the rest of the family is happy.
Yep.
Right.
So my baby started sleeping through the night.
Yep.
My husband's like, hi, wife, welcome back. You know, like I said, I can be a very expressive individual. When I'm sad, you know, it's like, or I'm dealing with pain, it's hard, you know, but I try to keep it in my own space and not distribute it all over social media and whatever. But so I just wanted to tell that story in case there are other parents and mothers who are dealing with stuff. Birth does change you.
Yes, there's a reason why the subject of postpartum depression is so widely known and talked about everywhere at this point.
Yeah, there are both physical and mental aspects to it, I believe. And if you can handle the mental, typically the physical will come into shape.
And
so
what was the counseling like? Was that called an assist of some kind? What is it? What's the name of that?
It was an advanced procedure that I ended up doing in using an e-meter.
Okay.
But yes, it was a form of assist, and it was addressing the actual delivery of the child. It was like an assist, another type of assist.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many tools that in Scientology that
can be used in all different parts of life, in all different aspects. So that was the story one. But the twin birth was a whole nother story. And if you guys, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I want to hear it.
I'll just tell you
I've
the
been
short
sitting here
version
waiting for the
because
twin story because somebody mentioned it before we started.
Yeah, so I did have twins. So it was a natural, I got, okay, funny story. And you can take this however you want.
Wait, interruption. When you give birth to twins, is it considered, do you call it a birth or a double birth?
Okay, so I will tell you that the hospital bills you as a double birth.
What?
So, I'm not even joking. So it's $15,000 or $7,000 for one, you know, and then the next one they bill you.
This full amount.
The full amount. There's no deductions. At least there
There's
wasn't
no charity
at that
in the
time.
hospital.
There's no charity.
No.
They're like, listen, you delivered 2 babies. I'm like, okay.
Did they give you a discount because there's only one placenta? Is that a discount? Like,
depends on.
Did you have 2
the birth.
placentas or
So
one?
I had 1 placenta.
Okay, that's what I'm
because
saying.
they're
She should have a
identical,
discount.
because they were identical.
Yeah, they're
2
identical.
placentas.
So there's different
If there's
types
2
of
sacks.
I'm learning
twins
so much.
you can have baby in 2 different membranes and sacs and 2 different placenta, which is considered very highly risk and at-risk pregnancy because you're dealing with 2. Or you can have a single placenta, single sac, 2 babies. So that's, I forget the exact name. There's a technical name for it. And if anyone who's listening that's a doctor will know, oh yeah, that's a mono or, you know,
Yeah, okay.
that kind of thing. I'm a little rusty on it. It's been about 7 years, but so I was bound and determined to give the birth to the twins naturally. I had not scheduled a C-section. I think there's only something like 25% of women who give birth naturally to one of the babies actually succeeds in giving birth naturally to the second.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the reason why is because if they're sharing a placenta, you're basically, when you cut the baby's cord, it's like a fire hose going off for the second baby, and they have all that room so they can do backflips, they can the doctor was describing it's basically a huge rush of water going in the second baby's face. So what can happen is the heart rate can spike, the cord can wrap around the baby's neck. Yeah, this is its own world. Whoa. Its own world, yeah. So
okay, so wait. When there's twins, I want to make sure I got that. I know, but hold on.
Yeah, I'm like, there's so much new information.
So
for me.
if there's twins and the first baby, this is not two births. This is one day. In one day, you deliver the first baby. Only 1/4 of women will deliver the second baby without epidural or a C-section.
Well, no,
not
without
the epidural,
an
just
emergency
a C-section.
C-section.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what the statistic is now. That was when I gave birth, but it was considered unusual.
Wow.
In the medical field. And the doctor is, telling me this and saying, listen, Mariah, I understand you want to have a natural birth. And he had delivered twins naturally. And I think it wasn't, women, I don't have my own viewpoint on C-sections. I just believe that the body knows what to do. Mm-hmm. And we've been giving birth to babies for millennia. Yes, we have healthier babies. Yes, less babies and women die in childbirth than they did back in the 1800s and 1600s. But I do think that the body knows the natural process of giving birth and will do so. Mm-hmm. So I was like, don't want, and I also had never had any major surgery, and C-section is a major surgery. Yeah. In addition to dealing with the baby, and hopefully you do have that support, but then you got to deal with the fact that you were just cut open. Yeah.
And your doctor happens to be a viral doctor, no?
Yeah, Dr. Kraft, yes.
Yeah. I just want to bring it up there in case you're going to mention.
He's a great doctor.
So you have to cut the cord after the first one is born? Mm-hmm. You can't just wait for the second one to be born and then cut it?
I'm not a doctor, but that is the procedure that.
Okay, so then I want to hear.
Okay, so first thing is I didn't find out I was pregnant with twins until 5 months in. How did that happen? Because I was not expecting twins, number one. I was going to a midwife center. I refused to do an ultrasound to give the baby radiation until the required ultrasound, which was at 20 weeks. I had done a blood test to make sure that the baby was healthy. The baby came out healthy. I had already known through the blood test it was a boy. So I went in for my 20-month required ultrasound in this midwife center, and the woman's like going on the belly, and she's like, wait a second. I'm like, oh no, there's something wrong with the baby. And she's like, let me just double check something. I'm like, what's happening? What's wrong? And she goes, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'm just going to come out and say it. You're having twins. I'm like, what? I start crying and laughing. My husband turns white. He's like, well, I guess there's no taking them back now. Because I was above the considered age, which is 35. So you're considered above 35. You're considered a geriatric
Stop.
pregnancy.
Yeah, after over 35.
It's a thing.
Stop.
So because I was over 35 and having
twins. They use
twins,
the word geriatric.
They do. Yes, it's a
35.
horrible word. They
How old were you?
I
want to ask. Sorry.
So because I was of that and I was having twins, the midwife center said, sorry, we can't deliver you here. So they said, you need to find another doctor. So I was like, okay. So I was calling all these doctors. Sorry, you're too far along. I don't accept patients that are twins that I haven't worked with from the beginning. Finally called my friend who worked at a hospital. I'm like, do you know any doctors who might take me for? And by this time I was in tears, and I told my husband, my birth plan is calling 911.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm not even joking. By that time I was about 6 months in. I hadn't found a doctor. So my nurse friend's like, why don't you call Dr. Kraft and see if he'll take you? I know he's delivered. And he actually happened to be at a hospital, Morton Plant, which was about 2 to 3 minutes from my house. Strange, ironically. Isn't it ironic?
It is.
So I ended up calling him. He was on vacation. Then I sent him the files, and he'll see if he takes you. So luckily, he did accept me, and I was able to change my insurance. But just know for any twin moms that are pregnant, there is hope. There are doctors who will come in and save the day. So
you can move to Clearwater and see Dr. Kraft.
See Dr. Kraft. He's very in demand. Okay, so he took me to the hospital. So he's like, okay, come in. I'm like, listen, I want to carry full term. And by that time I was doing a health regimen. So we go to the hospital. I'm at 38 and a half weeks. He's like, listen, your babies are weighing in at about 8 pounds each. If you want to do a birth naturally, you're going to need to give birth. I'm like, okay, fine. So he go into the hospital at 9:30 in the morning. But the problem is baby A, which was the first one out, had turned. So his shoulder and back were in the way. I couldn't deliver them naturally. He was essentially breech at that point.
At 38 and a half weeks.
At 38 and a half weeks when it was planned to go in there. So they come and do the ultrasound. They're like, listen, they had me all hooked up. You get hooked up to the machines, heart rate, and they're like, listen, your baby is sideways, the first one. So we're probably just going to have to do a C-section. I said, no, I'm not doing a C-section.
But you were in labor.
I was, yes, I had just started labor. Like he did the swipe thing. So you are activated labor. They hadn't known that the baby was essentially sideways at that point. So he's like, yeah, I feel his shoulder. So they do the ultrasound. They're like, yeah, so he's slightly sideways. So we're going to have to get you ready for a C-section. I said, I'm not doing a C-section. Like, this is not my birth plan. Like, I'm not in trouble. The babies are not in trouble. They couldn't legally at that point do anything because we were not in physical danger. And I was like, listen, let me just try a few things. So long story short, between 9:30 and 4:30 p.m., I was calling my chiropractic. I was doing physical things to try to turn the baby. I had 4 different ultrasounds at that point in time. And the doctor's like, I'm really, Mariah, we can try to deliver you, but you're just not dilated. And if you're not dilated, you can't push the baby out. And I was like, ugh. So my focus was like, okay, I need to get dilated. So then I was like trying everything. I tried speaking to them spiritually. Okay, just start going, whatever. I was trying everything you can. Everything in the kitchen sink. And I hadn't eaten at all. Neither had my husband or had a doula who I had called in at that point in time because the nurses were getting very afraid of me because I was like, I'm not doing the C-section.
Yeah.
They're trying to get me to sign these things and give them authorization. I was like, I'm having these babies naturally. This is what is going to happen. And they're like, okay. So Dr. Kraft ended up calling another doctor and was like, good. What is the percentage of likelihood that she can deliver? And he's like, 2%. I'm like, so you're saying there's a chance? Yeah. You're saying there's a chance. So he goes in there. He's like, listen, we just need to get you dilated. So at that point in time, I was like, okay, what can I do to get dilated? Bouncing on the ball, doing squats, trying to activate the body. And the body just was not going. And so my doula, who is also a Scientologist, started saying, Mariah, what is the issue you have with doing a C-section? Like, she started asking for considerations. What are your concerns? So we started talking. And there's a simple understanding in Scientology, a technique, which is the communication cycle, where a person can tell you their problems or issues, and you just acknowledge. You don't tell them how to solve it. You don't tell them, hey, you should be doing blah. You don't do evaluation for them. You just say, thank you, I got that. Was there anything else you wanted to share about that? So she started applying this technique to me. And I at this one, I said, I've literally had so much focus on not getting a C-section in my mind that it was creating a stop of energy for my body. Because I was like, I'm not doing this. This was like, I'm not. So I was like, oh, that's what has been going on. I kid you not. She goes, okay, so why don't I was like, let's just bring the doctor in one more time. Because at this point in time, he had checked dilation. He's like, Mariah, you're not dilated. I was like, let's just check one more time. If I'm not dilated, I will do the C-section. Everyone can rest, and know that the babies came out okay and I'm okay. Because that was like, the nurses were like, what are we going to do with this patient? And so.
Were you having contractions while you
I wasn't really having contractions. Light contractions. But after the conversation with my doula, I was like, I feel something happening. Like, I was like, I think it's happening. So I was like, call the doctor in. Within 5 minutes, he says, you're 9 centimeters dilated.
Oh my God.
This is not a joke.
Yeah.
This actually happened. And I said, okay, good. So can I deliver? And he's like, well, the first baby is still slightly turned. But what I could do is maybe while you're pushing, move him. And he called another doctor and he's like, okay, Mariah, let's go. Do you want and the nurse, I had been planning an epidural after my first birth. I was like, I'm not doing another birth without an epidural. So the nurse is like, okay, we're going to get you the epidural. And the doctor's like, it's going to add 45 minutes. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, screw it. Let's do it. Wow. So the thing is, when you're giving twins, you have to deliver in the operating room. You can't deliver in your room. So they're flying me down. They give my husband scrubs. They fly me down. We ended up giving the birth. He basically the baby slightly, and gave birth to two. One was 7 pounds, like 15 or about 8 pounds, and the other one was just under, naturally. Wow. And this was so much a phenomenon in this hospital that they did a whole case study to understand. And the doctor came in afterwards to apologize for the nurses pushing on the C-section without me wanting to do it. And he's like, you got to understand, we're just trying to medically make sure, everything was okay. And I was like, I understand that. At the same time, we were never in danger. We had all the machines. And he's like, that's totally fine. He's like, so what happened? And I was like, it's called Dianetics and Scientology. And I explained it to him. He's like, this is not a medical thing that he can prove. I explained to him like the formula of communication, of the acknowledgement and, getting off the worries and stuff like that. And he's like, okay. And then he calls me up later. He's like, so the hospital's doing a case study on your birth because it's so unusual. I was like, okay, fine. So he ended up doing a whole presentation to the doctors, and I don't know what he ended up actually presenting, but it was just the ability, understanding that there is a technique and there is a technology to getting out of or learning how to navigate stressful situations. And knowing and understanding that from my studies in Scientology helped me navigate that so I could have the outcome that I was intending without having any kind of medical emergency occur. So that was a cool story.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and I did have the pregnancies for that one was completely different because it was a euphoric, like, oh, I love my twins. I never want to go back to work ever again,
You didn't have it in the end.
Really?
The second
I
time,
did.
wow.
The second time I just had the high that comes with, I don't know what was happening, like the body and the hormones. It could go either way, but I didn't have any kind of, like postpartum depression on the second one. And I was all euphoric and like, I love my boys and this is the best day of my life. And this is what I was supposed to do with my life. And, it was very special, but I was very happy that it had a good outcome. And, I couldn't walk for about 4 days after that, but it's okay. I made it through.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here
Was all that at Morton Plant?
Yes.
So what's crazy is, my wife Ashley gave birth to both of our daughters at Morton Plant.
Oh,
the first one, she started at a birthing center, then wound up in an emergency C-section. But the interesting thing is both times when we've gone there and we've let them know, hey, we're Scientologists, so we would like for you to do X, Y, Z in terms of not talking while there's like the mother's in pain, et cetera, like just standard stuff. They were extremely they actually almost, not that we were ever treated bad before, but after we told them that each time, I kind of let them know, it was almost like we were treated better than a normal patient was what we experienced.
Yeah, I'd probably say there's certain guidelines, like not chit-chatting while the operation or whatever is occurring, because that can actually impinge mentally in the person's space and is traumatic. So those kind of things, so probably a little more respectful.
Yeah, but I would have to imagine that your situation probably had an impact down the line on the staff there at Morton Plant. Like, because a lot of them that have been there for like 20 plus years, like our nurses literally worked there for like 15 years. Yeah, who delivered the first one.
Yeah, I could see that.
So thanks.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my birth track.
That's amazing. I want to say what it does. It really shows how powerful you are, how powerful all mothers are.
True that.
As spiritual beings, as people who can make. It's not like the body and the mind. I mean, we believe this in this room, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are a spirit and you have a body.
Correct. Yeah.
And which one is stronger?
Which one is in you? Yeah, and that's also what I found with Dianetics and Scientology. It actually makes you as a spirit stronger.
Yep.
And stronger from external forces that might come into your space and interrupt your focus.
Yep.
The noise.
Yep. And so like you being like, hey, as a spirit, you can actually control your body and you can make things happen. But the way it occurs is a lot of times through the communication, through just talking.
Right. Yeah.
To getting off the thing that you're holding so strongly that makes your body react.
Yeah.
And it's funny because obviously communication is the oldest therapy there is, right? All counseling from the beginning of time had some form of talking, right? Sometimes they go off and do other things too, but like generally talking is so good. And I want to mention guys, I mean, I don't know, I'm just putting a plug here, but there's a lady named Ina May who has a book about childbirth. Okay. It's called Childbirth Without Fear. And literally, there's a lot of midwives that train on this book. And they're like, if the baby's not coming, hey, what's going on? Is there a reason you don't want to have this baby right now? Or some question like that, and getting off ideas. This is a technique that's been going on for a while, because that is the thing. If you sit down and you go, what is this idea I'm thinking on? So anyway, it's just like, it just goes to show the power of the individual
and that
over
it works,
yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And that it works. Yeah, it's physically. Cool.
So another subject here is college. You went to college.
I started a degree program in an online college. Yes.
When was that?
It was about 3 years ago.
Okay, and why did I do that?
Okay, so I work in business. I've worked in business now for 18 years with my husband as a business owner, small business owner. We do entertainment, recreational activities. We build them and manage them or whatnot. And I was exploring about going into other fields, and one of the fields is higher education, because my kids are getting to the point now, they're not high school age yet, but I could see how education and learning was going to have a massive impact on who they turned out to be.
I see.
And so I thought, I want to get my own degree so I can understand what if I'm going to send my kids to college, what am I actually going to, what is the product that I want to have as a result? And also, like I said, I like to learn things. My husband had started a college at that point in time.
Okay.
And I thought, if we're going to be in this world, then we need to have our credentials. We need to know what's going on. We need to drink the Kool-Aid. Essentially, the concept, some people like to fake it before they make it. And I'm of the frame of mind that why don't you learn what's going on so you can become an authority or help other people in that area.
Right.
So that's why I started going, as kind of to increase. And I also took, a liking to education and schools, and what are they teaching my kids, and how are they coming home, and how is it advancing their learning and their logic process and computing skills. And my daughter wanted to be an architect, which means she's going to need to go to college,
right?
Because that's where they teach that. And depending on the field they're in, you can say, oh well, general business, you don't really need a credential for general business. And unfortunately, in the collegiate world, a credential now doesn't carry as much weight in certain fields. Like if you're a doctor, you need credentials, you need the training. You're not going to go to a dentist or a doctor that hasn't passed the test.
I think you can. I think it's illegal to practice.
Exactly.
It's actually illegal.
Yeah. So in the business world, there's not really that as a standard.
Okay.
But there should be, because you need to learn. There's so many, thousands and thousands of industries you can go into business. You guys are in e-commerce. You're in construction. I'm in entertainment. But there are simple principles that apply to all businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of
like the subject of P&Ls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
P&Ls and finance and understanding.
Profit and loss statement, say how much you made or how much you lost.
Yeah, exactly. Understanding the numbers you're dealing with, understanding how do you get sales? Are you a sales-driven company? Are you a service-driven company? Are you international? There's laws. There's, one of the businesses we had started. Okay, this is a true story of why it's good to know business, is because we had started Snowcat Ridge.
Yeah.
And we had Scream-A-Geddon, and there were certain building officials who would show up typically the day before we opened to try to find something to close us down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they do? What do you mean?
Don't they
Because
want
it's
business?
Pasco
I just
County.
Don't understand.
So there are different people there now.
Mostly
I will say
people
that.
I think the
Typically,
people in the
people
city, they
do.
want
But it
you
only
to do
takes one
well.
person.
It only takes one
to shut it
person,
down.
and that's the thing is
Oh,
this one person who
okay.
was in the office at that time. Thankfully, they're not there anymore, and small business owners now have a more
Thriving.
flourishing. Yeah. But so she would do this where she would send all the inspectors out, try to close us down, typically on opening day. So one of the things they found was that we didn't have a business license or a business receipt.
Yep.
Which is something you need. It's not a tax thing. It's a county thing. And it typically applies. And if you don't have it, then you get fined. I didn't even know I needed it. Like it wasn't something that you were told or taught when you're just opening a business and you're starting a business. It's like you have regulations depending on the city, the state, the country you're in. So we were so focused on building. So they decided to fine us $25,000 for it costs
Wait, for the
$50
$50?
to file. Yes.
Yeah, I know
But
exactly what you're talking about.
this is a way
Yeah.
that someone had a chip on their shoulder with my husband, or the CEO of the company. And it was a way to try to undermine that business and cause financial hardship and stress. We didn't end up paying that. We worked it out. But that's an example of knowing.
You got in there, right?
What do you mean?
Who ended up?
Solving
It was negotiated on the back end with lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it was in the news. It was like we looked like the worst business owners because we weren't following the laws of the county, and you can spin it. Yes, it can be.
I mean,
spun.
easily they could have just said, "Hey, could you file your business receipt?" Yes. Like a week before opening, file it. It arrives in one day,
and it's also a same day thing. You don't even have to apply. You literally go, pay, boom, you take it, put it on your wall.
So the point is, there was an individual, and that's also something you learn in Scientology is who your friends are.
Yeah.
Actually, not who they look like they are by their actions, and you can learn what are the attributes that make an individual basically who just wants to go and suppress things.
Knowing who you can trust.
Yeah, there you go. Knowing who you can trust. Yes.
Scientology.org website.
So you learn it and you drill it and you learn the techniques and you go out and you actually do interviews on people and you spot them using these principles, and it's like actually makes you stronger and better at it.
Yeah.
Like practicing anything, like you're going to practice become a doctor. So practical application in Scientology. So anyways, so that was one of the reasons that I was like, okay, I need to actually learn more about business in general to make sure there's nothing else we're missing. We were starting to grow. We're looking at investing in other opportunities. We had investments now. Our financials got a lot more complicated. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't necessarily, we will hire other people to handle it, but I want to know what's going on because you can get screwed.
Yeah.
It's true.
If you don't know what is happening with your money, for instance.
I'd almost say you will get screwed if you don't know what's happening with your money.
Unless you have a really good person that is working with you, that is someone who you can trust, But we had people try to embezzle money from us. We are in a business that has run the gamut. Like we have a variety of things happen and we have become stronger. So my husband decided to start a college to teach people about business and it's more focused on the workplace and business as of today, as opposed to an historic account of business. Not that there's no history in it, but it's a college that's built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs.
That sounds incredible. What's the name of it?
So it's the Hubbard College of Administration of Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And it's based on the works of Mr. Hubbard. And it's also general education, but it teaches you the principles to building and organizing an endeavor. So whether it's a business or it could be your family, or there's basic principles. And it isn't, yes, Mr. Hubbard did found Scientology. Like he wrote a lot of books on Scientology. There were principles as Scientology grew, it had to become more organized. And so from those principles, we applied them to our business. And, it's simple things like, okay, what is the purpose of the organization? It isn't like some esoteric thing like this is taught in other places. We just have tabulated and formulated it so it can be understood by anyone.
Right.
And it's a great step up to young adults who are looking to advance the career, for instance, and just have a foundation of business and understanding.
That's cool.
And it's not like it's not for Scientologists specifically. You don't have to be a Scientologist, right?
No, like I said, this isn't. If you want to learn about Scientology, study a book, go to the Church of Scientology. This is a traditional college, just like Brigham Young was founded by the Mormons, and it's known, and they do teach their studies at that university. You have Harvard again. These other colleges have influences of religion.
Notre Dame,
yes. So this is not a new concept. This has been around since I was like, when was the first college ever built? It was like 10,000 BC or something. Like the concept of education and advancing career and apprenticeship in an area.
Yeah.
That is that is not a new concept. It's just, I feel like there's a pivot in the world today because you have individuals now who want to be TikTok stars and, and Instagram famous, and that's fine. But I consider them more entertainers. But we still need doctors. We still need lawyers. We still need people solving these problems of society. And so through our college, we want to give them the opportunity to do that. And this is not for individuals who want a party life. This is for individuals who are willing to put in the time, who want to get ahead, who want to be creative. This is not, it's a very competency-based, practical program. And
How long does it take?
It depends on how much time. So you can do full-time or part-time. A traditional bachelor's program typically takes about 4 years.
Okay.
And a traditional college, typically because they take one term off a year. They're not going to school the whole time. They take the summers off. So you can do our bachelor's program in as little as 21 months. So about 2 years. That's full-time. So the part-time, of course, is going to be about double that. And again, it's you'll find with a lot of the higher education industry, it's very efficient. But you'll find that these days, like even Harvard has online programs you can do now.
Yeah.
FSU does a hybrid model. So that is the trend. And AI is a whole nother thing when it comes to higher education.
Yeah.
The collegiate world is trying to figure out how to navigate it. The AI industry. We incorporate AI into use in our college. We teach you how to use it. We have our own. So the point is it's a changing world, and you're either going to be at the front, the middle, or the back. So where do you want to be? So exactly. Yeah. You want to be the changer, the mover, the shaker. So that is the focus of our college is you're driven, you're disciplined. If you come on campus, you have to wear business professional clothes. So just putting that mentality and that standard and the idea that, maybe.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe.
What a great move.
Yeah.
Like, hey, take yourself seriously if you're going to be here.
Or instill the idea that there is a standard.
Yeah.
Because if you go to, you'll see some of these campuses you go to, they walk around in sweats. Their hair is just, take a little bit of pride. That is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So what kind of culture do we want to create? And so we want to create, the entrepreneurial spirit, that thinking outside the box, or at least understanding and know how to be an executive or a leader. When you're a mom, you are an executive.
Yeah.
That is the mentality. You have your people you are bossing around or hoping to, but you have to organize schedules.
Hoping
Me too. You have to come up with meals, and this idea of leadership, and it applies to anyone. And get agreements.
Yeah, that's right.
Get
That's
agreement.
right.
That's a good one. So the idea is that we are trying to instill those values.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So through that, we're going to change that.
It's funny that you brought up as like an example of like something that's taught there would be like, what's the purpose of the organization? If you look at the purpose of the higher education system in the United States, and by the way, this isn't even controversial what I'm about to say, this is known, is it was reshaped in the 1800s to serve basically workers into the Industrial Revolution.
Yep.
People who were really good at repetitive tasks, memorization, and taking orders.
Yeah.
But not taking orders in like they're like good in an organization, mindlessly taking orders, right? This is not even up for debate. This is a known, like Rockefeller, like Mellon, Carnegie, like John Astor, these powerful people all came together and made that the curriculum.
Yeah.
And the purpose is to create generally
workers.
Mindless people who aren't gonna think,
Creatively.
think
I
outside
do
the
not
box.
like that.
Right. Yeah. And
You tell him, Whitney. You tell him.
But that's
I
what's
disagree with
cool.
this.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I think like the Hubbard College of Administration in Tampa Bay is awesome. Like I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
I've gotten the opportunity to do a couple talks, and it's like I've looked through the packs. It's amazing. Like it's really.
So we're in early stages. We just launched the program like 5 months ago. So, but the point is that we want to have, without having to go to a liberal arts, type of program, we want to create creative thinkers in the business world.
That's right.
Not just focus on it being a capitalistic economic system, but what can they create? How can they solve these problems even better using AI? How can they contribute? That's kind of like the focus. So we do have some really cool people on our board who are versed and know and play games in the AI world, and who want to also, give back to the next generation, obviously. And I do feel like the youth today have so much opportunity, and it can be wasted a lot through this one phone where they're, doom scrolling or making cute dancing videos, which is entertaining. So you have to say it is a form of entertainment. Sure. There is value in that, but we are going to keep needing doctors and lawyers and judges,
construction people.
And builders.
Yeah, and I want to say, I always want to acknowledge you guys because you guys have amazing speakers come to speak to your guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
But truthfully, look, no, I'm talking about, listen. Brad coming and talking, like Brad runs a many multi-million-dollar business, okay? You've had at least a speaker come there has sold a company for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yep.
Billions.
Right?
Yes.
Billion, like,
yes.
Oh, actually, billion,
These
sorry.
people
They're
have
cut.
built
So,
things.
yeah.
They have built things.
There is a successful thing which you could bring out, but they're in the book Shoe Dog, okay? It's written by Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. Okay. He says in his college, the one class, and that's paraphrasing, okay? But the one class that made a difference for him was one class where they came and they brought actual successful business people to talk to the students.
That makes
and
sense.
they would come like once a month. One person would come, and it was like a guy who did something.
Yeah.
And that class formed his knowledge that made him build Nike. So I just want to say, you guys are onto something.
Yeah.
You guys are onto
thank
something.
My husband and the team, but yes, that is very true.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs is the one who said, if people, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world normally do.
Yep.
There you go.
So, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
you. And
So don't think too small.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so just wrapping up, there is a question we do ask all of the guests.
Oh,
Okay. And it is, in your own words, what is Scientology?
It's the teachings of thousands of men that have been codified by Mr. Hubbard to a foundational understanding of what is life and how can you live it better, what makes you happy, and how can you get to where you would like to go. It's a very intellectual, spiritual thing, but at the same time, it's simple to read, simple to understand. But yeah, I'd probably say it allows you to be a happier individual with who you are.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
there you go.
amazing.
Amazing. Love that one.
Me either.
That's a beautiful
Yeah.
answer.
I'm sure you guys tell everyone this.
No.
No, we don't.
Oh,
Everyone's answer is great, obviously,
Beautiful.
but that's
Wow.
a really good one.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mariah, for coming to the
Thank
Don't Do
you.
Nothing podcast.
Thank you.
That was
of
incredible.
course. Thank you guys.
Thank you for doing everything you do.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.